global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: Nigerians in trouble as food vendors use pain-relieving drugs and bleaching agents for food processing. Alright, but before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. Alright, let's look at the news in detail.
The Osun State government has called on caterers and food vendors in the state to stop the dangerous act of using paracetamol to tenderize meat, beef, and also the use of hypo, a bleaching detergent for cassava processing, to induce whiteness of fufu and gari. The warning was issued in Osogbo at a joint news conference addressed by the Special Advisor on Public Health, Pharmacist CG Olamijo, and the State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Funke Egbemode, on the harmful effect of the illicit act on vital organs of the body, such as the liver, the kidneys, the heart, and the small intestines. Olamijo disclosed that the dangerous trend in public health was recently uncovered by the state public health surveillance volunteers who were assigned to visit primary health centers across the state. Describing the act as criminal and one born of deadly ignorance, Olamijo admonished the perpetrators to a disease as it pertains great danger to the health of the consumers in the state. The advisor alerted that hypo, which is a bleaching agent meant for laundry, ought not to even get in contact with the skin, least of all the alimentary system. Mrs. Ogbemode disclosed that the decision to embark on a statewide awareness campaign and public sensitization on the issue was aimed at educating caterers and cassava processors and averting possible adverse health implications of the illicit act, which had been on over the years unnoticed. She further revealed that the awareness campaign was sequel to the worrisome report of the sharp practices which was given at the first State Executive Council meeting in the new year. Mrs. Egbemode explained that discovery has shown that paracetamol, a pain-relieving medication, is being used to tenderize, to boil meat and beef, and to process stuffed cow leg in order to cut costs and to reduce the cooking time. She also lamented that the use of hypo detergent to process cassava without minding its harmful implications on vital organs of the body, which she identified can cause slow and instrumental death.
All right, thank you very much. And this is not a good one for Nigerians. This is why every day we wake up to different kind of sicknesses and diseases. Every day we wake up and we see unexplainable tumor in the bodies of people. Sometimes we attribute it to the fact that, it's a demonic attack. Some will say it's traceable to your family line. They'll make mention of so many things, not knowing that there are certain persons who are carrying the bodies of human, but yet their act is totally demonic. How can you on earth be using hypo to process anything for a human being to eat? We have seen fairly recently how people apply chemicals on something like a okporoko. They'll apply chemicals on it. They say, well, it's a way of killing the animal, the pests that comes around it and all of that. Now, but you forget to know that those things that you are applying those chemical on are going to be used by human beings. They're not just going to be used by human beings. They're edible things. It's not something that I'm going to keep in the house, maybe to perfume the house, or maybe just like an asset or in the house or stuff like that. It's going to be eaten into the system of men. And you know that every organ of the body reacts negatively to these things. And before we know, we'll hear the case of kidney failure. We'll hear the case of this and that. You know, I want to really thank these guys who are going around to sensitize Nigerians about it, because what is most important right now is the fact that most of them have already been, carried away by this attitude, by this action. It could even be a food vendor close by to your house. That's what she's using, or that's what he's using. Because most of the time I walk into some places to eat and I realize that the food is overly cheap. I know how much they sell meat in the market. I know how much they sell certain food items in the market. Now, you go in to eat somewhere and the kind of eba or the kind of rice or the kind of meat that somebody will concord on something and just tell you is 200 naira, 300. It's really amazing. I'm like, hey man, where do this guy buy this kind of meat from? Not knowing that they have introduced all manner of chemical that will cause this meat to swell up, and you keep eating there. By the time you eat there for 1 year, just imagine what those intake will cost to your system. Before you know, you can't explain where you're getting sicknesses from. And the next thing you start saying, but I do eat very well. I make sure that early in the morning I eat and mama this place, mama B place, mama A place, mama this place. Not knowing that actually they have introduced all manner of things. And it's very important. This campaign must not only be done in the southwest, but they have to move it down to the south, to the southeast, to the northern part of Nigeria. Get people sensitized about this so that they get to know the effect of all these drugs that they are introducing. It was just a matter of time. It's not just the drug, that they are applying food. How about things like tramadol? Yeah, immigration have been doing a lot to see that they don't bring in those kind of drugs. What they may claim to be an energy-giving drugs, most of them would destroy human system. Tomorrow, a young man grows up, and because you wanted to be sexually active in the day when you were young, all of a sudden you can't procreate. You can't give, a woman realizes she can't give birth again because of the intake of those things. So I think this is overly important. The Ministry of Health, this is one very key responsibility that they must carry out, to go out and give health awareness on some of those inimical acts, those act that is carried out based on ignorance. You go out and talk to the people, gather them in Market Square, gather them in sensitive area, and we deal with this. We've seen even things that you buy, small things you buy from the market. There was a time also, fairly in the way they had to show how how's that guy who was selling all these nuts and the rest, the kind of water they were using to wash it, and people would just come, pick it, okay, give me extra. You just pick it, put it inside your mouth, not knowing that where they wash it from was actually gutter water. That was where they washed the whole stuff from. These are some of the duties that some of our ministries must carry out. Now, let me just read one or two reactions by Nigeria. This one said, Nigeria needs to stop this nonsense. These are food that a human being will consume for goodness sake. And this one said, Yoruba people no go keep person. No, it's not only in Yoruba. It's not only, you go to South, it is there. Go to South, it is there. There are people who are really angling to make money. So whatever, even if they say if people eat this thing, they will die in the next 4 years, they won't mind to introduce it. All what they want is, so that I'll be able to build a house, so that I'll be able to drive a car, so that I'll be able to do this. Before you know, unthinkable sicknesses. The guy went further to say, they use hypo for fufu. Are you serious? Putting hypo in water to wash the cassava. Why don't you just go to the east to get a white cassava variety and plant it in Oshuna? Which kind life? So is it a whole plastic of hypo, or is it 5 sachet?
It doesn't matter.
How much hypo is enough? Now, whatever significance this thing gives to them, they know very well that it is based on the quantity. So if, for example, now I put hypo as much as 1 hypo in, and it gives me something reasonable, I will now start calculating immediately. Bucket of hypo, 2 tons of hypo can give me this. And before you know, they'll apply it. Some don't even mind the hypo taking over the whole thing. They don't mind. As far as the people who are going to eat it will not perceive the smell, and they just go into their system. I am okay. Man, guys, let's stop all these things. Let's stop all these things. Please, government should help out here, and there should be a punitive measure for all of this. There should be punitive measure. There should be a penalty that you will pay. By the time they get to discover it and you go in and spend not less than 6 years imprisonment, it will bring you back to your original senses to know how important human beings are. A lot to be said right now, but let me just give my colleague a chance to tell us what's her own position on this.
Nigerians, man is an economic man. Naturally, man is an economic man. Now, presently, gas, a kg of gas, a kilogram of gas goes for 450 naira. A liter of kerosene goes for 350 naira for now. I don't know about the next 2 hours, but for the now, firewood, 4 sticks of firewood goes for 250 naira. And cow leg, if a caterer to cook cow leg to the point of it being soft, you are going to waste. Depending on the quantity as well, you're probably going to waste at least up to a kg or more. So now to tenderize it, to make it soft very quickly, about in the space of 3 minutes, your cow leg is cooked, soft and ready to chew. You put paracetamol inside. Okore, sikina, obugo, otita. So why are you wasting your fuel? Introduce paracetamol, but they have forgotten that there's an essence why paracetamol is produced, not for boiling, because for each time you put paracetamol, there's this chemical reaction it has that with boiling water that will not be good for human consumption. Gradually, you are buying, and you go out there in a restaurant to eat, you buy debt by installment. You use your own hard-earned money to go and buy debt. By the time you know it, you are visiting hospitals day in, day out. It's the greed of man. And Nigerians as a whole, a lot of things happen in Nigeria, and it is permissive because of the nature of how Nigeria is being run. Some of this is not obtainable in the West, in the United States, in foreign countries, in Germany, I'm very sure. Even in slaughter, you don't just wake up one morning and just kill cow in your home. Way back then in the United States, you have places where they do such. In Nigeria, you can buy goat, go to your backyard and kill the goat. Nobody will ask you, how did you kill your goat? Things are not done properly in this country. We are too populated to even know what is going on. And I can just imagine somebody buying his own death with his own money, simply because some set of persons want to make good amount of money. Why would you want to use hypo, a bleaching agent, for crying out loud, on consumables? Something you will consume and eat and digest. Even when you put hypo in white, the way it whitens the stuff is amazing. How much more on your intestine, how it will look like. I could still remember when I visited a colleague of mine in the hospital. I wanted to see her for 1 or 2 things. So I stayed back and I was listening to some of these talk shows with pregnant women during their antenatal. I just strolled down to their section while I wait for my colleague to finish up what she was doing. And what I heard was amazing. They said during scarcity period of tomato, what they do is very wonderful. They go buy, Yorubas call it a sha. They buy this soft tomato, very soft. Then they will now go to these guys that used to blend it totally with all the ginger, garlic, so that you will not perceive the smell of the sour, the badness, the terribleness, because it's already gone bad. They will now use those garlic, ginger, onions to garnish it, so you won't perceive the smell. Then, because it's not much and it's a canteen, mama put, you understand, they will now buy gari. When they are making the stew, they will mix it with gari to thicken the stew, so that when you eat rice with stew, some people say, "Oh, madam, this your stew no plenty." You add more. You'll be wondering, in this time that there are no tomato and this woman is having plenty tomato, it is gari cooked stew, gari cooked stew. To make it worse, I remember then one of the nurses was admonishing the pregnant women then that they should please be careful. They should not be buying a liver outside. I was like, please, because what's wrong with liver? Liver is very good to the system. They said because some of these women go to slaughter, they buy blood of cow. I was listening. They buy blood of cow, they will take it, pay for it, put the blood of cow inside a bucket of container, pour Maggi, as in season the blood of cow very well, let it, put it under the sun, let the thing dry up properly. Then they will now break it in pieces and fry. So that when you now come, they now put it in sticks and sell. I don't know how true, because I've not tried it. I don't usually eat those liver stuff, but I was amazed how wicked man can be to man. Blood of cow. And this has been existing for a very long time. This is just probably because one or two persons have, and you begin to see some all manner of ailments, all manner of sicknesses going on. You can't trace it. You know you don't have this, but it's not in your lineage. But you just find out that you have just developed a sickness that you don't even know the name. You don't know that the accumulated paracetamol and hypo you have taken into your system. God needs to help our country. A lot of things are just happening in this country.
All right, thank you very much. I think we have done our bit, but I think the duty lies, the main people to carry out this responsibility is the Ministry of Health, and there are different parts that are the human rights organizations, health-related organizations. I think this is one of the things that they should do, go out there and sensitize. Most of them are overly ignorant. To them, we've just discovered a way of making profit within a short while. So you need to go out, talk to them, and let them understand also the criminal implications of this thing. But that's where we're going to leave it. Go to our